Hey guys, welcome back to the episode number 5. So today we'll be learning how we can use laravel-mix in order to load our scripts into our project. So let's get started. Okay, so if we open our package.json and scroll through a bit, we can see that our laravel-mix is already been installed and it is version 5.0.4. So by this we know that laravel-mix is already in our system. Now we do also have a file named webpack.mix.js, which is actually a mix file on top of the webpack. So behind the scene we actually laravel-mix actually using the webpack but in its laravel-mix format. So before that we actually need to fill up something in order to work with the laravel-mix. And I believe we already have set up this src folder in which we have admin folder, and there is admin.js which is totally blank, and also in the front end we have frontend.js which is also blank. And into the assets, if we go, then we have a sass which will be converted into the css and which will be stored into this css folder, which is obviously blank now, and the js is also blank. So when we interpret with laravel-mix, these scripts, these admin css and front end, these will be interpreted and converted into browser friendly way and stored it into its relative js or css folder, and css will be stored from this sass will be interpreted into the normal css, and then it will be stored into the css folder from where we need to enqueue the scripts in our plugin. Alright, so let's start. So into the webpack, what we need to do, we need to call the we need to add the laravel-mix. So we can say const mix, not min, mix equal to require like this, and from here we can say laravel-mix like this, and then we'll set up the folder, the public folder where everything should be generated. So we can say set up a public path to generate assets like this, and we can say mix.set public path, set public path should be capitalized like this, and we need to mention the folder name assets here, so it should be matched in where you want to load or put those scripts by the laravel-mix. Sorry. So then we also need to autoload some scripts, so let's do that. Let's do Autoload Jquery for now because we're gonna need that in the future. So we can say mix, not min, again mix dot autoload, and it is an object in where we can say jQuery like this, and so for $sign we are referencing jQuery. We can say window dot jQuery and also the jQuery like this. So by this we are auto loading our jQuery if there is any. Of course there will be any, and then we need to compile our JavaScript. So compile JS, and for that we have a function mix.js which we need to define the source path, so which is for the admin script we have src-/admin and then admin.js, and which will be stored in the assets, then js, then admin.js, and then we need to also enable this. For that we will not map the source because we do not need that actually. So we can say source maps to false Okay, and also we're gonna extract the view, okay, like this, because we are using this view. All right, and the next thing for the front end JS, so you can say rc and then front end, and then front end.js, which will be stored in obviously assets, then JS, then front end.js, and which source map we do not want to add anything for now, so let's keep it false. All right, so let's just check for the folders if we have mistaken anything. Source admin.js, yes, it looks okay. So source front end JS, everything looks fine. Okay, now the next thing is to compile our SAS things, so let's do that real quick. So mix.sas, we have a SAS method for that, and so it is in the assets. No, I can't type. And then SAS, and then admin.sas now, scss. So because now everything we are actually importing, like we just using the tabs, so into the tabs everything is there, so that is why we're just loading the admin, and then assets css admin.css, like this. So it will be converted into admin.css. all right, so far we what we have done, let's just a quick recap. We just load this laravel-mix, set the path, autoload the jQuery, and then compile the CSS, two files, basically admin.js and front-end.js, and then we compiled our SAS into CSS and stored it in assets CSS and admin.js. all right, so now let's open our console, and then let's go our package.json. so if we can see here, we have three scripts: dev, watch, and production. So dev, what it will do, it will run everything, but it will not watch. Okay, so but watch have the same thing that dev has, but it will start watching as well. So we gonna run npm run watch, and everything, if everything goes well, then it should generate some scripts in our associate folders. So let's wait for that. Okay, we have some errors, let's check that out. Yes, I think I have found this issue. It should not be mean, it should be mix, my bad. So let's run it again. Okay, it still have some errors, let's check that up. Alright, I have found some more errors. I can't type today, let's fix that out. It should be maps, source maps. Okay, is there anything else that we are finding? No, I think, let's say third time lucky. Okay, yes, I think we are good here because everything is loading up. So let's see. Okay, so as you can see, our success notification that Laravel have a nice little notification thing going on. So if you see that into the assets folder, we have admin CSS created and admin.js created, front-end.js created. That's okay, but what is these two? manifest.js and vendor.js. Okay, let's go back into our folder first. As you can see, these two files has been generated, this manifest.js, this vendor.js. Actually this is related to its webpack setup and laravel-mix setup, but we actually need those things, because otherwise if we do not load these two packages or these two JS files before our admin.js, so our things will not gonna work. So that is very important to keep in mind we actually need those two scripts that is loaded by the laravel-mix. Okay, so now everything is working fine, our scripts is watching, so in that part we are good, but we need to load those scripts in our plugin in order to work everything as expected. Okay, so let's move on to that part now. So here let's add another action for adding our scripts. So the action name is admin enqueue script, because we are adding those scripts into the admin area, not into the public area. So we can say admin enqueue scripts like this, and we're gonna need to pass a callback function for that. We can say register scripts and styles, register scripts and styles like this. Alright, now let's shrink that, or let's put it here actually. So we can say public function, and then this register scripts and styles like this. Okay, so here what we will do, we will divide everything into some other sub functions, like we will be creating separate function for loading the scripts and also for loading the styles. So let's say load scripts like this, and also say, let's say load styles like this. Okay, now let's create this script method real quick. Public function load scripts, in where we'll be loading every scripts, and then public function load styles. Alright, so sorry, so here we need to say wp register script. We are just gonna at first register everything. So let's say wp vk, because we first load the manifest. I'm talking about this JS file. Alright, so and then if we can remember from our plugin PHP, we have some constant to load those things. So you can use wp vk plugin URL, this constant, directly here, and then we can load our assets, and then JS, then manifest.js like this, which doesn't need any dependencies. Let's put a random version here whenever it loads, or yeah, let's keep it like that. And then it should be a function, and then let's say into the footer it is true. Alright, so let's copy this, paste it here for the vendor, and also let's put vendor here, and this vendor should depend on this manifest script. Okay, alright, so and then and also we need to add our scripts, obviously. So this is the admin, and then it should be dependent on the vendor, because the vendor is dependent on the manifest, so it will be loaded as sequentially. Okay, let's shrink a bit. Okay, so we registered 3 scripts. Now we gonna enqueue those things. wp enqueue scripts, enqueue script. Okay, so the first one is this one. Now you might be wondering why I'm registering it and enqueue scripts, but if you know that if you register the scripts, that has a benefit. So the registering scripts means WordPress now register your scripts, and then you can use those things anywhere else. But if you directly use WP script, then these things will be loaded directly, and you do not have the ability to register these things into by depending on a requirement. So loading scripts like this is very beneficial actually. So always do like this. Alright, so as far as our script is concerned, our load scripts is loaded. We have loaded 3 scripts: manifest, vendor, and yes, not it should be admin.js. Okay, so manifest, vendor.js, and admin.js. So these 3 are needs to be loaded sequentially. Vendor needs to be dependent on manifest, and then admin should be dependent on the vendor. So it should be loading as sequential as we want. Now for the future use, we actually need to pass something into the view from these scripts. So how we can do that? We can say wp localize script, by which we actually can make things like we can interchange our PHP values into the JavaScripts. Okay, so we are passing those things into the admin only. So we need to pass this ID that has the same ID that in which scripts we want to pass these values, and then we need to say the name or the object name of the JavaScript in which everything will be contained. So we can say wp-vk admin, let's say localizer. So, and then we need to pass an array in where we will be passing something like admin URL. We can say like this. So the admin URL might be helpful, so you can say admin URL like this. And also we need to pass Ajax URL, so we can do like this. So Ajax URL is admin URL, and then the admin ajax.php, if we can remember, for our handling our Ajax request we need this, and also the API URL that we gonna need in the future when we work with the API thing. So we can say home URL, and here we just need to pass wp-json like this. Alright, so localize scripts is also has been initialized, and the next thing is only to load our styles. So we can say wp register style as before, and we can say wp-vk admin here. Then we need to pass that constant, and then assets, and then css, then admin.css like this, and then wp enq style like this, and we can say wp-vk admin. Okay, so far I think we are good here. Let's just check if there is any typo or anything like that. So wp enq style, yes, wp register style, everything looks okay for now. Okay, so I think we are good here. Now let's go back into our admin area and check if our scripts are loading as expected or not. So let's hit a refresh here. This is the settings page, so there shouldn't be any error. Let's check the console. Yes, there is no error, but let's check the view page source so we can check that our scripts has been loaded or not. So we can just search with this. Okay, as you can see, our manifest has been loaded. If we can check, yes, and our vendor is also been loaded. And if we search for our admin.js. This is the admin.js which is totally blank right now, but it will be filled up with our admin.js things. So this is not the file that we are writing, this is the file that laravel-mix generate for us. So if we go and we will not touch this, keep in mind, okay. If we need to add any sass things, we can just add this. But let's go here and let's say console.log, and let's say loading, let's just say from admin.js. Okay, so because yes, this laravel-mix is giving us the notification that our scripts is watching behind the scene. So if we just inspect it and hit a refresh, it should be in the console. Yes, from admin.js. So this is the confirmation that our scripts is working as expected. So as far as our scripts integration is concerned and laravel-mix is concerned, I think we are good here. So finally, from the next episodes, we can start working with the VUEJS that we are all waiting for eagerly. So see you in the next videos. Keep watching. Thank you.